crash landing on Eden's shore. The vast emptiness of space shattered as Commander Sarah Chen's research vessel, the Stellar Horizon, plunged through the atmosphere of an uncharted world. Warning klaxons blared through the ship's corridors as she fought with the controls, her knuckles white against the steering column. Come on, she muttered, watching as the ship's systems failed one by one. The strange energy field that had pulled her off course now seemed determined to bring her down. Through the viewscreen, she caught glimpses of an endless ocean, its surface glittering like diamonds under 3 suns. The Stellar Horizon screamed as it hit the water, skipping across the surface like a stone before coming to rest half submerged in the crystal-clear waters. Sarah's head throbbed as she regained consciousness, the taste of copper in her mouth. Emergency lights cast an eerie red glow throughout the bridge. "System status," she commanded, her voice hoarse. The ship's air remained silent, dead like everything else. Sarah unbuckled herself from the pilot's seat, wincing at the bruises forming across her chest from the restraints. The ship groaned ominously, and she knew she needed to move quickly. Grabbing her emergency survival pack, she made her way to the upper deck. The air that hit her face as she emerged was unlike anything she'd ever experienced. Sweet and clean, with an underlying hint of salt that reminded her of Earth's oceans. But there was something else, something alien that made her skin tingle. The view took her breath away. In every direction, crystal-clear waters stretched to the horizon, broken only by scattered islands covered in vegetation unlike anything in human records. The plants seemed to pulse with an inner light, their colors shifting subtly in ways that defied explanation. A splash in the distance caught her attention. Something large moved beneath the surface, creating ripples that spread across the otherwise calm waters. Sarah's hand instinctively went to her sidearm. "I wouldn't do that if I were you." The voice came from behind her, musical and strange. Sarah spun around, weapon half-drawn, and found herself face to face with something impossible. A being floated above the water's surface, humanoid but clearly alien. Its skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns that shifted like the aurora borealis, while what appeared to be fins or wings rippled in the breeze. But it was the eyes that held Sarah transfixed. They seemed to contain entire galaxies within their depths. "Welcome to Eden," the being said, spreading its arms in a gesture that seemed both welcoming and cautionary. "Though I must admit, your arrival was rather dramatic." Sarah kept her hand on her weapon, but didn't draw it. Years of first contact training kicked in. "My name is Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth research vessel Stellar Horizon. I mean no harm." The being's patterns shifted to what Sarah somehow knew was amusement. "I am Kellis, Guardian of the Western Sphere. And harm, Commander Chen, is precisely what I'm worried about, though not from you to us." Before Sarah could process that cryptic statement, a low rumble emanated from beneath the waves. The Stellar Horizon shifted, beginning to sink deeper into the ocean. "Your vessel is damaged," Kellis observed. "The Leviathans will claim it soon. You should gather what you can before it's lost." Secrets beneath the waves. Sarah watched helplessly as the Stellar Horizon sank deeper into the crystalline waters, taking with it her only means of leaving this mysterious world. The ship's hull groaned under increasing pressure, and bubbles of escaping air marked its slow descent into the abyss. "Your civilization's technology," Kellis observed, floating closer, "it relies heavily on electrical systems, does it not?" The being's bioluminescent patterns pulsed thoughtfully. "That would explain the rather spectacular failure of your vessel upon entering our atmosphere." Sarah turned to face the alien, her scientific curiosity temporarily overriding her concern. "The energy field that pulled me off course, that was you?" "Not exactly." Kellis gestured toward the horizon, where one of Eden's 3 suns was setting in a spectacular display of color. "It's the planet itself. Eden has particular properties that make it an ideal sanctuary, but rather inhospitable to certain forms of technology." A massive shape moved beneath the waves, larger than any marine creature Sarah had ever seen. The water displaced by its passage rocked the remaining exposed portion of her ship. "The Leviathans are growing curious," Kellis said. "We should move to safer ground. Can you swim, Commander Chen?" Sarah nodded, though she eyed the mysterious depths with apprehension. "Call me Sarah. And yes, but I prefer to know what else is in that water before I dive in." Kellis's patterns shifted to what Sarah was beginning to recognize as amusement. A wise precaution, here. The being extended a hand, and the water beneath Sarah's feet suddenly solidified into something like a translucent platform. "This way is perhaps more comfortable for you." As they moved across the water's surface, Sarah struggled to process her situation. Her scientific training warred with what her eyes were telling her. The being beside her seemed to be manipulating matter itself with casual ease. "You have questions," Kellis stated. "That's good. Curiosity is a trait we value. But first, let me show you something." They approached what appeared to be a small island, its shores lined with the same bioluminescent vegetation Sarah had noticed earlier. As they drew closer, the island seemed to shift and change. What had appeared to be natural rock formations revealed themselves as elegant structures that merged seamlessly with the environment. Buildings that seemed to be grown rather than built rose from the water's edge, their surfaces alive with the same shifting patterns as Kellis's skin. "Welcome to one of our surface outposts," Kellis said, guiding them toward what appeared to be an entrance. A small sample of Meridian architecture. Inside, Sarah gasped. The walls were transparent, offering a view into the ocean depths that surrounded them. Schools of alien fish in impossible colors swam past, their bodies creating patterns that seemed almost like dancing. But it was what lay deeper that truly took her breath away. A vast city spread out beneath the waves, its buildings spiraling in geometric patterns that defied human architecture. Lights pulsed through the structures in rhythmic ways, and beings similar to Kellis moved through the water with graceful ease. "Your people," Sarah breathed, "you live down there." "The Meridians have called Eden's oceans home for millennia," Kellis confirmed. "We are its guardians, protecting this world and its inhabitants from those who would exploit it." "Protect it from what?" Sarah asked, though a sinking feeling in her stomach suggested she already knew the answer. "From those who would strip it of its resources, from those who would study its unique properties and use them for warfare, from those who would destroy this sanctuary in their quest for power." Kellis's patterns darkened. "Your ship was not the first to find Eden, Sarah Chen. But unlike the others, you came seeking knowledge rather than profit. That is why you still live." A chill ran down Sarah's spine. "The energy field that disabled my ship." "A defense mechanism," Kellis confirmed. "Eden's natural properties, enhanced by Meridian technology. No vessel that enters our atmosphere can leave it. The risk of our location becoming known is too great." Sarah's mind raced with implications. "So I'm trapped here? Forever?" Kellis's patterns shifted to something softer, almost sympathetic. "That depends entirely on you, Sarah Chen. Eden has many secrets, and not all of them are dangerous. Some," the being gestured to a school of fish swimming past, their bodies leaving trails of light in the water. "Some are beautiful beyond imagination. The question is, are you willing to learn them properly?" Before Sarah could respond, an alarm sounded through the structure. Kellis's patterns flared with concern. "What is it?" Sarah asked, tensing at the urgent tone of the signal. "Something has breached the outer atmosphere," Kellis said, patterns now pulsing rapidly. "Something large, and it's not alone." Above them, through the crystalline ceiling, Sarah could see multiple objects breaking through Eden's cloud cover, their hulls reflecting the light of the three suns. "It seems," Kellis said grimly, "that your arrival has drawn unwanted attention. The sanctuary is about to face its greatest test, and you, Sarah Chen, must decide where your loyalties lie." The objects grew larger as they descended, and Sarah's blood ran cold as she recognized their configuration. She had seen ships like those before in restricted briefings about raids on outer colonies. Pirates. Eden's paradise was about to become a battlefield. The hidden truth. The pirate vessels descended through Eden's atmosphere like predatory birds, their hulls crackling with the same energy field that had brought down Sarah's ship. But unlike her relatively controlled crash, these ships seemed prepared for the interference. They had shielding, Sarah observed, watching as the vessels deployed some kind of energy barrier. They knew what to expect. Kellis's patterns darkened to a deep indigo. Someone betrayed Eden's secrets. The sanctuary's defenses were meant to be absolute. The Meridian outpost erupted into activity as more of Kellis's people emerged from the depths, their bioluminescent patterns flashing in complex sequences Sarah interpreted as communication. The scene reminded her of a disturbed coral reef, beautiful yet chaotic. "What can I do to help?" Sarah asked, her military training kicking in. She might be stranded on this alien world, but she wasn't about to stand idle while it came under attack. Kalis turned those galaxy-filled eyes toward her. "You would defend Eden, even knowing you might never leave." "I'm already stuck here," Sarah replied with a grim smile. "Might as well make sure it stays paradise rather than a pirate port." The Meridian's patterns shifted to something Sarah hadn't seen before, respect tinged with hope. "Then it's time you learned the true purpose of Eden." Kalis gestured, and the water around them began to move, forming a series of floating spheres that displayed images like organic holoprojectors. "Eden is more than just a world," Kalis explained as images flowed through the spheres. "It is the last sanctuary for countless species facing extinction across the galaxy. Look." Sarah watched in amazement as the spheres showed her creatures she'd only seen in xenobiology textbooks, and many she'd never seen at all. Each sphere contained a different ecosystem, perfectly preserved within Eden's various biomes. The crystalline singers of Proxima. Kellis indicated a sphere showing graceful crystalline beings that hummed with musical tones. Their homeworld was destroyed by mining operations. The floating gardens of the Nephilim. Another sphere revealed floating islands of interconnected plant life, lost to atmospheric pollution. The Deep Dreamers, a massive shape moved through dark waters, who fled their dying seas. "You're not just protecting a planet," Sarah breathed. "You're protecting an ark." "The last of its kind," Kellis confirmed. "Every species here represents the final remnants of once thriving civilizations. Some came seeking refuge, others we rescued before their worlds ended. The Meridians were chosen as guardians because our own world was among the first to fall." A distant explosion interrupted them. The pirate ships had begun deploying smaller craft, clearly intent on establishing a beachhead on one of the larger islands. "They cannot be allowed to discover the sanctuary zones," Kalis said urgently. "The refugees we protect are too vulnerable. Many are still recovering from near extinction." Sarah studied the approaching vessels with a tactical eye. Those ships are Black Reef-class raiders, ex-military vessels stripped down and modified for deep space piracy. "I know their weaknesses," she turned to Kellis. "But I'll need to know more about how Eden's defenses work and what exactly you Meridians can do." Kellis's patterns swirled with determination. "We Meridians are more than simple caretakers, Sarah Chen. We are what your people might call biomancers, shapers of life itself. Eden enhances these abilities, allowing us to manipulate the very essence of water and the creatures within it." As if to demonstrate, Kellis raised a hand. The ocean beneath the approaching raiders began to churn, and massive shapes moved in the depths. Sarah recognized them as the leviathans she'd seen earlier, but now she could see them clearly. They were unlike anything in Earth's oceans, their bodies a perfect fusion of organic and crystalline structures. "The leviathans are Eden's first line of defense," Kellis explained, "but the pirates will expect them. What they won't expect is human ingenuity combined with Meridian biotech." Sarah's mind raced with possibilities. "Your ability to manipulate water, can you extend that power to others?" Callus's patterns flickered with interest. Through our biotechnology, yes, but it would require a deep connection, a melding of sorts. No off-worlder has ever attempted it. Well, Sarah said with a determined grin, humanity does have a reputation for doing the impossible, and right now, Eden needs every advantage it can get. Before Callus could respond, a new alarm echoed through the outpost. One of the pirate vessels had broken formation, heading not toward the islands, but straight for the deeper waters, toward one of the hidden sanctuary zones. "They know," Callus whispered, patterns paling. "They know about the refugees." Sarah watched as more ships changed course, spreading out in a search pattern that couldn't be random. They're not just here to raid, she realized. They're here to capture endangered species. The black market value would be astronomical. "Then we have no choice," Callus said, turning to Sarah with an intensity that made the galaxies in their eyes seem to swirl faster. "Are you ready to become something more than human, Sarah Chen? To defend Eden not just with your knowledge, but with your very being?" Sarah looked out at the approaching ships, then back at the sanctuary spheres, showing that countless innocent lives at risk. Her answer came without hesitation. "Show me how." Rising threats. The biotechnology chamber pulsed with living light as Sarah floated in what Callus called the merger matrix, a sophisticated blend of organic technology and meridian bioengineering. The liquid around her felt thicker than water, more like suspended starlight given form. "Your mind must be open," Callus's voice echoed through the chamber. "The merger cannot be forced. Eden must accept you as much as you accept it." Sarah tried to relax despite the urgency of their situation. Above, through the crystalline dome of the chamber, she could see the pirate ships deploying their forces. Time was running out. The liquid began to glow brighter, tendrils of bioluminescence wrapping around her limbs like gentle embraces. Then came the sensations, overwhelming at first, like trying to process 1,000 different inputs at once. She could feel the ocean, not just its presence, but every current, every creature, every molecule of water. The refugees hidden in the sanctuary zones registered as bright points of life in her expanded awareness. The Leviathans appeared as massive networks of energy, ancient and powerful. But most incredibly, she could feel Eden itself. The planet was alive in a way she'd never imagined possible. It wasn't just a world, it was a consciousness, vast and alien yet somehow welcoming. "Extraordinary," she heard Callus say, the meridian's patterns reflecting amazement. "Your adaptation rate is unprecedented. Eden has accepted you completely." Sarah opened her eyes, watching as patterns similar to the meridian's bioluminescence began to appear on her skin. Not as pronounced as theirs, but definitely present. She could feel new strength flowing through her body, new awareness expanding her mind. A distant explosion snapped her back to the immediate crisis. Through her enhanced senses, she could feel the pirates' forces establishing footholds on several islands. Worse, that technology was more advanced than she'd initially thought. "They're using sonic disruptors," she reported, the information flowing naturally from her expanded awareness. "Designed to incapacitate large marine life forms, they're trying to neutralize the Leviathans." "Then we must act quickly," Callus said, helping her from the chamber. "The merger has given you access to Eden's defensive capabilities. Are you ready to use them?" Sarah flexed her hands, watching the patterns of light flow across her skin. "I think so, but we need a plan. They're too spread out to confront directly." "Perhaps," a new voice interjected, "we could be of assistance." Sarah turned to see 3 new figures entering the chamber. Their forms were crystalline, their bodies emanating the same musical tones she'd seen in Callus's earlier projection, the crystalline singers. "We are not defenseless," one of them sang, its harmonics resonating with the chamber's walls. "Many of us came to Eden, not just as refugees, but as warriors who fought to protect our own worlds." More figures emerged from connecting chambers, representatives from other refugee species. The floating gardens had sent their vine shapers, their bodies intertwined with living plant matter capable of incredible feats of biological manipulation. The deep dreamers contributed their mastery of sonic waves, a power that could counter the pirates' disruptors. Eden has protected us, the crystalline singer continued. Now we will protect Eden. Sarah felt a surge of hope as she looked at the assembled forces. The pirates were expecting to find helpless refugees. Instead, they would face an alliance of the galaxy's most unique and powerful species, fighting to protect their lost sanctuary. Through her new connection to Eden, Sarah began coordinating their defense. The Leviathans would form their front line, but now they would be supported by the Deep Dreamers' sonic shields. The Vine Shapers could create natural barriers and traps on the islands where the pirates had landed, while the Crystalline Singer's abilities could disrupt their technology. We have one advantage they don't expect, Sarah told the assembled group. They think they're dealing with scattered, desperate refugees and their guardians. They don't realize they're facing a unified force. Callus's patterns swirled with approval. And with your military training combined with Meridian abilities, we can coordinate in ways they cannot anticipate. A massive tremor shook the outpost. Through her enhanced senses, Sarah felt one of the sanctuary zones being breached. The pirates had found a way in. They're going after the Deep Dreamer juveniles, she reported, feeling the panic of the young creatures. They know the young ones are more vulnerable to capture. That was their mistake, Kellis said, patterns turning fierce. There is nothing more dangerous in this galaxy than a parent protecting their child. The adult Deep Dreamers surged forward, their massive forms moving with unexpected speed through Eden's waters. Sarah reached out with her new abilities, coordinating their movement with the Leviathan's attack patterns. All forces, she broadcasted, her thoughts carried through Eden's unique properties to all their allies. Execute Defense Pattern Alpha. Protect the sanctuary zones at all costs. Show these pirates why Eden has remained hidden for so long. As their forces mobilized, Sarah turned to Kellis. I'll need to get closer to their command ship. Their defensive algorithms are based on Earth military protocols. I can predict them, maybe even hack them with these new abilities. Then let's give them a proper welcome to paradise, Kellis replied, patterns gleaming with anticipation. Shall we show them what a human Meridian partnership can really do? Paradise lost. Sarah streaked through the water alongside Kellis, her newly enhanced body moving with unprecedented grace. The bioluminescent patterns on her skin pulsed in sync with Eden's natural rhythms, helping her navigate through the chaos of battle. Above them, the pirates' command vessel loomed like a mechanical leviathan, its hull bristling with weapons. Sonic pulses rippled through the water, but the Deep Dreamer's protective harmonics kept Sarah and Kellis safe from their debilitating effects. Their shield matrix is adapting, Sarah observed, her enhanced senses reading the energy patterns around the ship. But there's something odd about their technology. It's familiar. A nearby explosion sent a shock wave through the water. One of the smaller pirate vessels had managed to breach the outer defense line, making a run for another sanctuary zone. Before Sarah could react, a massive shape emerged from the depths. One of the adult Deep Dreamers, its crystalline organic form distorting the water around it. The pirate ship never stood a chance. The Deep Dreamer's sonic blast shattered its shields and crumpled its hull like paper. But Sarah barely had time to celebrate the small victory. Kellis, she called out, her voice carrying through the water with perfect clarity thanks to her transformation. Look at their command ship's energy signature. Those aren't standard pirate modifications. The Meridian Guardian's patterns shifted to a concerned violet. Earth military technology. Mixed with something else, Sarah confirmed. Someone gave them classified specs and enhanced them with tech I've never seen before. Her eyes widened as realization struck. Unless... A new voice boomed through the water, carried on frequencies that made Sarah's enhanced senses tingle uncomfortably. Very good, Commander Chen. I was wondering how long it would take you to figure it out. The voice was distorted but unmistakable. Admiral Marcus Graves, her former commanding officer, the man who had personally assigned her the survey mission that brought her to Eden. This was never about piracy, Sarah breathed, pieces falling into place. The raiders, the attack on the sanctuaries, it's all a distraction. Consider it a field test, Graves' voice continued. We've been trying to crack Eden's secrets for years. Your crash landing finally gave us the opening we needed. The pirates are expendable, but the data we're gathering on Eden's defenses is priceless. Kellis's patterns flared with anger. Your own people betrayed you. Not my people, Sarah corrected, her jaw set with determination. Just one corrupt admiral who's about to learn why some secrets are meant to stay hidden. She reached out with her enhanced senses, connecting more deeply with Eden's consciousness. The planet's awareness flowed through her, showing her things she hadn't seen before. Patterns within patterns, layers of defense that even the Meridians hadn't fully understood. You see it now, don't you? Kellis asked softly. Why Eden chose to accept you so completely? Sarah nodded. The planet wasn't just hiding refugees, it was evolving them, helping them adapt and grow stronger. And now it had done the same for her, creating something entirely new, a bridge between human ingenuity and Eden's ancient power. Admiral, she broadcast, her voice carrying an authority that made the water itself vibrate. You wanted Eden's secrets. Be careful what you wish for. Sarah raised her hands, calling upon everything Eden had shown her. The water around the command ship began to crystallize, not into ice, but into living crystals similar to the crystalline Singer's forms. The process spread rapidly, following the ship's energy fields and turning its own shields against it. Impossible, Graves' voice crackled with static. The energy readings, this isn't just Meridian technology. No, Sarah agreed, feeling Eden's power flow through her. This is evolution. The crystallization reached the ship's core systems, transforming them into something new, neither fully mechanical nor fully organic, but a hybrid that pulsed with the same bioluminescent patterns as Eden's native life. Graves' voice turned desperate. Full power to engines. Break orbit. I don't think so, Sarah said quietly. With a gesture, she completed the transformation. The command ship's weapons fell silent, its hull now gleaming with the same living crystal that characterized Eden's most beautiful creatures. The remaining pirate ships, seeing their command vessel transformed into something alien and beautiful, began to retreat, but Sarah wasn't finished. Through her connection to Eden, she sent out a pulse that rippled through space itself, encoding a message into the very fabric of reality around the planet. What did you do? Kellis asked, patterns swirling with curiosity. Created a warning, Sarah explained. Anyone who scans this sector will receive a very clear message about what happens to those who threaten Eden. Admiral Graves' ship will serve as a rather eye-catching example. The transformed command ship hung in the water like a massive sculpture, its crystalline form redirecting light in ways that made it almost invisible unless you knew exactly what to look for. Inside, Sarah could sense the crew, alive but changed, just as she had been changed. And Graves? Kellis inquired. Sarah smiled grimly. Let's just say he'll have plenty of time to appreciate Eden's beauty from the inside of a crystal. Guardian of Eden. 3 cycles of Eden's suns had passed since the battle. The crystallized command ship had been relocated to the deepest sanctuary zone, its transformed crew joining the ranks of Eden's refugees, though under careful observation. Admiral Graves remained suspended in his crystalline prison, a permanent reminder of the price of threatening paradise. Sarah stood at the edge of the Meridian outpost, her bioluminescent patterns reflecting the sunset's colors. Her body had continued to adapt, becoming something neither fully human nor fully Meridian. The patterns on her skin were more pronounced now, and she could feel Eden's consciousness as clearly as her own thoughts. The deep dreamer juveniles are thriving, Kellis reported, approaching with a swirl of pleased patterns. Their parents say they've never seen them so active. Perhaps the excitement of the battle stirred their warrior instincts. Sarah smiled, watching a group of young leviathans playing in the distance, their crystalline forms catching the light. Life finds a way to adapt. That's something humans and Eden's refugees have in common. Speaking of adaptation, Kellis's patterns shifted to a questioning tone. The Council of Guardians has reached a decision about your proposal. After the battle, Sarah had suggested creating a new role within Eden's defensive structure, an ambassador of sorts, someone who would understand both human nature and Eden's extraordinary powers. The idea was controversial. Some refugees feared any connection to the outside world would bring more threats to their sanctuary. And Sarah asked, though she could sense the answer through her connection to Eden. They've agreed, Kellis confirmed. You'll be Eden's first human guardian, working alongside the Meridians to protect our refuges. But more than that, you'll help us better understand potential threats from your people. Your insight into Admiral Graves' tactics proved invaluable. Sarah nodded, her mind drifting to the encrypted message she discovered in the command ship's computers. There will be others. Earth's expansion is accelerating, and there are more corrupt officials like Graves who would exploit any advantage they find. Eden needs to be ready. And now we will be, Kellis said confidently. Thanks to you, we have new defenses in place. The merger of human military strategy with Eden's natural powers has created protection systems we never imagined possible. As if to demonstrate, Sarah reached out with her enhanced senses, feeling the new layers of security she'd helped implement. The crystalline warning beacons hidden in the outer atmosphere, the deep space scanners integrated with refugee biotechnology, the network of transformed sensor arrays that could detect approaching ships light years away. There's something else, Kellis added, patterns showing slight hesitation. We've received a transmission from one of our long-range probes. Another Earth vessel is approaching the sector. Sarah's patterns rippled with concern. Military. Scientific expedition, Kellis clarified. Much like your original mission, the probe detected discussions about investigating the anomaly created by your disappearance. A thoughtful expression crossed Sarah's face. Then we have a choice to make. We could divert them like we've done with others. Or, Kellis prompted, though the Meridian clearly sensed where Sarah's thoughts were heading. Or we could make a controlled first contact, Sarah suggested. Not with Eden itself, but with a carefully chosen outpost. Show them just enough to make them realize this sector is protected, that there are powers here beyond their understanding. A calculated risk, Kellis observed, but one that might prevent future Graves from attempting brute force approaches. Sarah's patterns swirled with determination. Humanity isn't ready for all of Eden's secrets, but they're not all like Graves. Some, like me, would choose to protect rather than exploit. Maybe it's time to start identifying potential allies. A group of crystalline singers drifted past, their harmonics adding a musical backdrop to the conversation. Nearby, a vine shaper was teaching young refugees how to cultivate the living architecture that characterized Eden's structures. The scene epitomized everything Sarah had chosen to protect. Besides, she added with a smile, watching as a juvenile leviathan breached the surface in a spectacular display, someone needs to show humanity that there's more to the universe than conquest and exploitation. That true power comes from adaptation, cooperation, and respect for life in all its forms. Kellis's patterns shifted to match Sarah's resolve. Then let us prepare. Eden has chosen well in making you its human guardian. Together, we'll ensure this sanctuary endures, a testament to what becomes possible when different species choose to protect rather than destroy, to nurture rather than exploit. As the last sun set beneath Eden's horizon, Sarah felt the familiar pulse of the planet's consciousness, stronger now than ever before. She had come here as an explorer and crash-landed as a survivor, but she had become something more, a bridge between worlds, a guardian of secrets, and a protector of paradise. The universe was changing, and humanity with it. And here, on this extraordinary water world with its refugee species and ancient powers, Sarah Chen had found not just a new home, but a new purpose. Eden's secrets were hers to guard now, and she would ensure they remained safe for generations to come. The end.